This Lion Toys model of a Faymonville low loader was first seen as an early prototype at the Nuremberg Toy Fair in 2009. Since then, Lion Toys have been taken over by Techno. This model comes in a plain Lion Toys windowed box, but there's no information about the real trailer or indeed the model. The model comes fully joined together in its longest configuration, so there's no other assembly to do other than to fit the kingpin, and for that purpose a bag of two separate kingpin sizes is provided, and the review model also had a spare beacon light which appears to have broken off, but it's not clear where it comes from. So the only assembly to do on the model is to fit the kingpin on the gooseneck, which is a little bit unusual, but it's easily done. You have to unscrew the two parts of the gooseneck, and when you've done that, the top and bottom plates separate, and you can fit whichever kingpin you want into one of the two kingpin locations, and that's done just by feeding a screw through the top side of the gooseneck and then just screwing on the kingpin that you want. Now these kingpins are a bit fat and they won't fit most tractors made by other makers, so if you wanted to use a tractor from a different maker, you might have to find a way of fitting your own thinner kingpin into the model. But at least you've got the chance to do that with this mechanism. When you've joined the top and bottom plate together and inserted the screws, it's just a matter of doing the screws up, and then you've formed your gooseneck with the kingpin that you selected in place. We'll look at the detail starting at the gooseneck end. There's a couple of wheel chocks on each side, and there's a Faymonville graphic attached as well. There are a couple of spare wheels at the gooseneck, and the pistons are modelled at the trailer connecting end of the gooseneck. The paintwork is good, but lacks a yellow reflective stripe along each of the edges of the trailer, but these painted tie-down shackles do look good. At the rear there's a painted beacon light and a fixed width marker board, and the light clusters at the back are painted. In terms of features, the module units are similar. They roll reasonably well, and although they don't have suspension, they do have working linked steering, although as you can see the steering produces a kind of a parallel mechanism rather than any degree of proportional steering. However, it works reasonably well and the mechanism is stiff enough to hold any pose that you want to set. The 5-line axle unit really is just the same as the 3-line in terms of its features. The steering is again linked, but it's not proportional, and so it suffers a little bit really for the rear unit not having proportional steering. Moving along to the deck unit, this is a very solid piece of modelling. It's entirely in metal, and it is both extendable for width and also for length, and so you can actually get quite a dramatically longer model, and one that can hold really quite wide loads. So this is quite an impressive piece, and the mechanism on it works pretty well, and it folds up smoothly. One of the features of the trailer is the flexibility with how you can assemble it, and a variety of configurations are possible. So you can start with just having the deck attached to the 5-line unit and connect that straight to the gooseneck to form a kind of a short trailer. Or if you want a longer trailer, then you can insert the 3-line axle unit just behind the gooseneck, where it just hooks into place, and then fit the deck onto the 3-line unit. It's just a little bit fiddly, but it's easy and straightforward enough, and then you form the trailer in its longest configuration. And bear in mind the deck can be extended for length as well. A slightly more unusual configuration is just to fit the two axle units together to get a kind of a short bogie trailer. The width markers are fixed in place, which is a bit of a pity, so you can't really remove those easily. Another choice is just to fit the 5-line unit straight onto the gooseneck, if you wanted something really pretty short. And there's another possibility, which is to connect the deck to the gooseneck and then actually fit the freeline unit to the end of the deck to get the shortest possible trailer. However, there is no light bar on the freeline unit, and this may not be necessarily a valid configuration, but at least the flexibility is there. In summary, this is a reasonable model from Lion Toys. It's not the most detailed, but it would look pretty good in company colours, and there's enough flexibility in the features for it to be recommended.